We are back on Wednesday again, another hump day. Halfway through the week. Congratulations, everybody. Whew. I don't know about everywhere else, but here in Northeast Ohio, we're supposed to be getting some warm weather the next couple days, like mid 50s, which is a nice change of pace from the 20 and 30-degree weather. Although that means if it gets cold again, then more people are going to get head colds and blech, that's just not fun. I've already been somewhat sick like 3 different times this winter, and I maybe get sick once a year. So it's just been that kind of year. We're going to move on to what I believe, if I remember correctly, is the ninth plague. I believe. Let me count really quick. We'll go backwards because, yeah, that's the last one. Okay. Yeah, so the ninth plague. An interesting one. I want to see if this has anything different than the movie as well, because this is probably one of the ones that interests me the most as to what, you know, just to read about it and think about what it was. Um, so let me know what you think, because you see it in the movie, you think about it, but maybe there will be some more revelations from the actual Bible itself. So having said that, let's get into it so we can get the video moving along. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand toward the sky so that darkness spreads over Egypt, darkness that can be felt." So Moses stretched out his hand toward the sky, and total darkness covered all Egypt for 3 days. No one could see anyone else or move about for 3 days. Yet all the Israelites had light in the places where they lived. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and said, "Go, worship the Lord. Even your women and children may go with you. Only leave your flocks and herds behind." But Moses said, "You must allow us to have sacrifices and burnt offerings to present to the Lord our God. Our livestock too must go with us. Not a hoof is to be left behind. We have to use some of them in worshiping the Lord our God, and until we get there, we will not know what we are to use to worship the Lord." But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he was not willing to let them go. Pharaoh said to Moses, "Get out of my sight. Make sure you do not appear before me again. The day you see my face, you will die." "Just as you say," Moses replied, "I will never appear before you again." So, there was one thing. You probably recognize it by my tone. Very first verse: darkness that can be felt. Like, what does that mean? That is very interesting. You can feel the darkness. I don't know about you, but I can't feel darkness. I mean, I always get, when you're a kid and you feel a little nervous about the darkness or scared of it, but you grow out of it. I mean, me in the dark right now, I don't know. I wouldn't feel anything. So I'm not sure what that is saying. That's very interesting though, to be able to feel the darkness. And for 3 days they couldn't see anything. Could you imagine that? It's pretty much like being blind for 3 days. And for people who haven't, been blind their whole lives, that's a huge change. I mean, talk about, it doesn't sound as dangerous as a hailstorm that destroys trees and crops or bugs and frogs everywhere. But you go 3 whole days without being able to see anything, and you let me know if you want to keep the Israelites in there just because you don't want the animals to go with them. You talk about what am I trying to say here? Just the way Pharaoh's being, that I'm blanking on the word, but stubbornness, the stubbornness of Pharaoh to do this is incredible. It, I mean, he said you can take the women and children, but you cannot take any of your animals. Leave the flocks and herds behind. And when Moses said, "No, you have to let us take those too because we might have sacrifice and burnt offerings," no, he says no. And then, now we have a little bit of a change at the end of this one. Pharaoh says to get out of his sight because if you appear before me again, if you see my face again, you will die. And Moses is like, "All right, just as you say it will be. It's, I will never appear before you again," which is a little bit of a dark foreshadowing for what's going to happen in the next couple of stories. But just think about that: 3 whole days not being able to see anything, anyone, and you can feel the darkness. I mean, even if you can sleep during those 3 days, you wake up and it's still dark. I don't know. That's just that is a very psychological plague, I would say. yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the Egyptians who are under Pharaoh's control. I wonder if they, because Pharaoh's the one making all these decisions. I wonder if they had ever gotten the option um, to kind of go over with the Israelites, like rebel against Pharaoh or rebuke him and go with the Israelites because of everything that's happening. I wonder if there were any instances of that happening throughout all of this. We don't have anything yet. We had like a couple mentions of, his officials were kind of baffled as to why he was still saying no, but I honestly, I wonder if anybody had, the intelligence to be like, all right, this is serious. I'm not going to stay here and let Pharaoh keep doing this to us. I'm going to go see what this, the Israelite God is all about. But very interesting, the plague of darkness. All right, well, leave your comments. Get through your Wednesday. I'll see you again tomorrow morning. And we're already a week into February. That's crazy. It feels like the new year just happened. The first few months go by pretty quickly, but also very slowly. It's a weird psychological thing. But yeah, I think that's all I have for today. And let me know what you think about the Plague of Darkness, what it might have felt like, and what you might have done. All right, but that's it for me today, and I will see you again tomorrow with another Slingshot Daily Devotional.